Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's get this going. Let's go through and let's look at some player props this week. Honestly, I'm excited for this video because last week, y'all know we crushed the player props. Oh, thank God. I couldn't have lost much more money. I mean, we were just getting crushed. Week one, we lost what, like 2-3. Week two, I think we lost 2-3 as well, but we booked a winning week. Finally, in week 3. Hopefully, we can do the same in week 4. And I got good news. I think we can. For one special reason we'll get to in just 1 second. But of course, if you have not done so already, go down there, drop a like on this video, subscribe to the channel. And if you want to check out any of these player props, you can find a ton of them. Obviously, there are a lot that we are not even going to be focusing in on this video, but you can find all these on Underdog Fantasy. And I got great news for you. If you go and sign up for Underdog Fantasy today with the link in the comment section or the link of the live stream, you are going to be able to get your first deposit matched dollar for dollar with promo code FLOCK. And only for people who have used promo code FLOCK are you going to get access to this Cooper Cup special line. So if you've used promo code FLOCK before, whether this was last week, last month, a year ago, regardless, if you have used promo code FLOCK before, this will be available to you. Go ahead and take it. And actually, it's not exactly this. It's not over under half a receiving yard. It is over under half a total yard. But that should be it. Let's go through. Let's dive into what we did last week before we look at anything else here. And last week, we crushed the Raheem Mostert line. This is a clear spot where if you're going up against the Buffalo Bills, you look like a 50-50 back in your backfield, why are you going through and putting that line at 51.5 total yards? Last week we bet the under. It hit. He only had 11, so that was pretty damn nice. And then beyond that, if we are going to be going to our next one, we hit the Ryan Tannehill over 207. Now, keep in mind, this was very low last week. This week, that's actually closer to like 225. The reason this was so low is because the week prior, you had the Tennessee Titans getting embarrassed by the Buffalo Bills on national television. So I don't think too many people wanted to take that over. Obviously, we did, and I'm very excited that we did so. And now our next one that we hit, we don't need to talk about these too much. We already did them last week. Well, we did not hit this one. We got embarrassed by taking the Jalen Hurts under. Thought he was going to have some rushing touchdowns, 0 rushing touchdowns last week. He had 3 passing touchdowns. We also took the Alvin Kamara higher than 2.5 receptions. Thought we were going to hit this as well. Honestly, very proud of this call. We had 7 targets with Alvin Kamara. This week, the line's actually at 3.5 receptions. So I think this was a good bet. I just think we didn't get lucky. And then Jeff Wilson, we took the over as well, 55.5 total rushing yards. The man had over 100 total yards. So I think that was a pretty good call. But now let's go over and let's look at what we are going to have this week. Starting off with the line of the century. If you're on Underdog, you're only going to see this if you've used promo code FLOCK. And I went and crunched the numbers here. So far this season, Cooper Kupp has had over half of the total yard 3 out of 3 games. Last year, 21 games, including the playoffs, Cooper Kupp hit the over here. Now, I'm no mathematician, but I'm pretty damn sure that this is an easy spot to go through and take that over. You can find it on Underdog, promo code FLOCK for everybody who's used it. It should be live for you now. And now going over to our next one, that's not going to be included in our top 5. Obviously, that's an easy call. We are going to go through, we are going to have the Christian Kirk higher than 5.5 receptions. If we are looking at Christian Kirk, well, yes, this is a spot where going up against the Philadelphia Eagles, it is a significantly tougher defense. Philly has a phenomenal defense. And right now, if we go to Vegas Sportsbooks, they actually have the Philadelphia Eagles favored by about 6.5 points compared to where you look at. And if we look at the implied team totals, Vegas is saying that you are not going to get a lot of points scored by the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, I don't really care if they're going to get a lot of points scored. I'm looking at Christian Kirk averaging 9 targets a game in contest, where, remember, in week 2, when the Jacksonville Jaguars go up against the Indianapolis Colts, they win that game 24-0. Week 3, they boat raced the Los Angeles Chargers as well. So if Christian Kirk is averaging 9 targets so far this year in game environments where they're not having to play from behind, I actually really like Christian Kirk to just be that target hog here. If we go back to their last competitive game, week 1 against Washington, hell, Christian Kirk had 12 targets in that contest, and he has hit the over 5.5 receptions every week this year. Now, he's only hit it by half a reception. He's only gotten to 6, but I think the game environment will be better. Now, our next guy is going to be the Richie James under 10.25 points. With Richie James here, I get it. They have nobody else. They have nobody else left in New York. So maybe you want to make the argument, well, Mason, I mean, who are they supposed to throw the ball to? I mean, it isn't going to be all through Richie James. But if I'm looking at Richie James, I'm looking at a player that is 27 years old, and he has hit the over at 10.25 fantasy points twice in his entire NFL career. And keep in mind, this is half PPR scoring. This is not full PPR. So if you're going to be looking at Richie James compared to like Chris Olave, they have at 10.5 fantasy points right now. I don't think Richie James is scoring the same amount of points as Chris Olave this week. And maybe you're saying, well, Mason, I don't get why we can make this bet. They have nobody else to throw the ball to. And if that's the case, if you wanted to go through, if you wanted to maybe create an entire parlay about this New York Giants Chicago Bears game, saying it's going to be gross, there's not going to be much passing volume at all. Maybe you wanted to make the bet on Richie James over 10.5 points. We go through, we take the under Richie James, 10.5 points, the under Daniel Jones, 193 passing yards, the under Justin Fields, 23.5 passing yards. This is usually how I like to build in my bets on Underdog, is creating these correlating parlays where, hell, if Daniel Jones has less than 193 passing yards, that probably meant that Richie James also had less than 10.5 points. And if those both happen, then the Justin Fields-led Chicago Bears are probably just going to be trying to run the ball consistently. So I like trying to build in parlays like this that kind of tell a story in an individual game. But going over to our next player prop, we are going to have the Michael Carter under 45.5 rushing yards. So this past week, you finally had the first week where Breece Hall saw the most snaps of any New York Jet running back in this backfield. Now, if you're looking at Michael Carter Jr., he's hit the over one time this season. He hit the over one time at 45.5 rushing yards, and his usage is trending in the wrong direction. Breece Hall is taking more and more. I understand that a lot of people think that this Pittsburgh Steelers defense you can run against. I don't know. All I know is if you're telling me that he is not getting to this consistently or has not been in the past, and we're expecting him to see less snaps and less touches in the future, I think we're going to be taking that Michael Carter under 45.5 rushing yards. Now, our next guy is going to be the Elijah Moore over 3.5 receptions in this same offense. Very interesting spot here with Elijah Moore because obviously you're getting Zach Wilson coming in. I know a lot of people say, oh no, Zach Wilson's going to be so much better for Elijah Moore than what you had with Joe Flacco. Well, what I remember is everybody hating on us in week 1 when we said not to start Elijah Moore, and everybody in the comment section going, oh my gosh, have you not seen how many points he scores when Zach Wilson's not in the game? And now the Elijah Moore owners are saying, oh no, we need Zach Wilson. Like, pick a side here. But still, 3.5 receptions. I'm going to be fine taking this. It's already hit twice this season out of 3 games, and the man's had 22 targets. He's averaging over 7 targets a game. He's a slot wide receiver that should inherently just have that higher catch rate because he's operated close to the line of scrimmage. Right now, the Pittsburgh Steelers are favored by about 3.5 points in this game. Maybe it means that the New York Jets end up having to throw the ball in the second half. But now our next line going to be in the same game. I don't know why. I like a lot of the props in this same game. We're going to go with the Jaylen Warren 18.5 rushing yards under. Now, I know Jaylen Warren has had a bigger role than a lot of people, including myself, expected him to coming into this season. And a lot of people want to focus in on how many snaps Jaylen Warren's seeing. Well, what if I were to tell you that with these snaps, Jaylen Warren's getting about 3, 4, 5 carries a game, and that's including the contest where Najee Harris left early? Jaylen Warren has not had more than 5 carries in a game so far this year. And if we are going to be going through and looking at the situation, wouldn't it make sense for Najee Harris when he's another week removed from the Liz Frank? And at the same time, in the context where Najee Harris has 10 days to rest, we see a little less Jaylen Warren. Now, if this was 18.5 total yards, hell no, we would not bet the under. but 18.5 rushing yards when the overs only hit once. And I think Najee Harris is going to be trending in the right direction. I like taking the under of the rushing yards, but that should be it. What I want to do real quick is I want to go to the live chat and see if y'all have any player props you like. And Mason Lattimore in the chat says, if I used code FLOCK last year, do I still get the Cooper Cup line? Yes, if you've ever used promo code FLOCK, if you used promo code FLOCK a year ago, if you used promo code FLOCK 6 months ago, if you used promo code FLOCK earlier this week, you should see the Cooper Cup over under half a total yard line. But if you did not use promo code FLOCK when you signed up for Underdog, I apologize. That's on you. That's not on me. And of course, if you have not done so already, go sign up for Underdog Fantasy. Use promo code FLOCK when you sign up, and they'll match your first deposit dollar for dollar up to $100. Now, let's go ahead. Let me flip the screen. If you have not done so already, please go to the live chat. Y'all know we do this at the end here, asking the live chat's favorite player prop of the week. I think we saw someone earlier in the chat telling me that let me see. Some people in the chat saying that they do not have the player prop. Oh, guys, y'all should have the player prop. Literally, we had like 20 people on that last video telling us they had it. Like, if you are watching this and you had the Cooper Cup player prop, please go to the live chat. Go to the comment section. Let me know. Yeah, Adrian says, can confirm I used code FLOCK last year and have the Cooper Cup line. Thank you. Yeah, Tugger says he has the prop. Everybody has the prop, guys. If you didn't use code FLOCK, you're not going to have it. But please go to the chat. Let me know what you're thinking. I saw someone in the chat earlier telling us that they liked the Breece Hall overs here. I don't necessarily know if I love the Breece Hall over. As we said, we were going to go through. We are going to potentially try to chase that under that we had with. God, there are so many player props on Underdog. We just got to go ahead and search this. We're going to chase that under with rushing yards for Michael Carter at 45.5. What you could want to do is, if you really like Breece Hall in this contest, you could go ahead, you could take Breece Hall plus 6.5 rushing yards versus Michael Carter. Not putting this on the video, but I'm saying if you were wanting to make that bet on Breece Hall. Y'all know I love Breece Hall for the long term. Like, I've been making that bet consistently, trying to go ahead and trade for Breece Hall everywhere we can. But that's a late season play. That's not a play for this week. That's not a play that I'm excited to start Breece Hall immediately. We don't even have him ranked as a top 24 running back this week. But I did see that some people were telling us that they enjoyed those Breece Hall lines. I don't know, guys. I love the long-term upside of the Breece Hall. I feel like betting the overs this week may be a little bit too early. But I think that should be it. Of course, thank you so much. If you have not done so already, go sign up for Underdog Fantasy. Use promo code FLOCK. Check out all those player props. Get into drafts with us on the live stream. And also, make sure you drop a like on this video. Subscribe to the channel. You can find the link to Underdog in the comment section. Available in pretty much every single state not named Louisiana, Washington, Nevada, Connecticut, Michigan, Hawaii. Thank you again. I appreciate y'all. Hope you have a great day. And hope I get to see you with the live stream tonight, where we'll be answering questions.